Hey everyone, this is Jake, and today we are going to be talking about the Q&A they did for 500th anniversary. They asked people to send them questions, and many people did, and they picked out some of the highly requested questions. So we'll go through this Q&A, and I think a lot of them are quite interesting to go through, and probably gonna change things a lot for the future aspect as well. So let's jump into the video and let's talk about the overall questions they asked and they answered. So first question they answered is about the counter case and when the new counter case will be added, as well as the confidential counter cases beside it, which is grayed out currently even in the Korean server. They originally designed the counter case as something that's quite light and short story, and when they started doing the Heartberry and other characters as well as the Yumina and a lot of different characters, they're reaching a lot of words, like 3,000 to 10,000 words for counter case. So they can run into problems that it's a lot of resources to put in. They are saying that it's really hard to meet the demands they had because they don't want to push out something that's kind of short. If they're pushing out the counter case, they want to give something more reasonable and that one actually adds a lot to the characters and the story. So how they gonna solve this kind of counter case problem people having where it's not coming out fast enough and not enough characters are getting their special equipments? They are planning to release a dungeon where you can farm those counter case weapons, and that way they are able to take that out from the counter case itself, and they can just kind of make the counter case kind of focus a bit more on the story without having to worry about giving the gears and stuff like that. But as they rework through this counter case changes, they are also going to be adding more side story like the twin lollies, and they are going to be adding a bit more stories to the game with the many different aspects. So counter case was tied into all-in-one kind of package for a lot of characters. So instead of doing that, I guess they're splitting out the different sections. So it's kind of same thing, but the main difference is that now the characters don't really have to wait until counter case to come out to get a counter case weapons, because they are going to be adding that separately. So I'm assuming this patch will make them kind of feel like they're going to be adding a lot of more counter case weapons. Basically, someone like me probably don't really need to spend much time into this kind of content, because like I said, I already spent a lot of set binary to change my counter case weapons to the set that I want to be used. But for a lot of newer players, probably something that's more reasonable, since they'd rather spend money on something like Turnium to run the dungeons and try to get the counter case weapon instead of trying to buying a set binary, which is quite expensive as well, and trying to get the set you want. But either way, you're gonna have two options in the future, I'm assuming, and we'll see how it turns out. So the second question was about the balance and some gauntlet balance stuffs, and they said they are looking into it, and they promised in the July they're gonna have balance patch updates. So they are thinking of changing the ship balancing as well. My ship video is probably useless now if they change the balance again for the ships. So the best ship could be something else, like armor could be the best ship with the next patch, who knows. And they're also thinking of changing how the class system works. In early game of counter side, we're talking like closed beta tests, they had more advantage for different classes. So I guess this is kind of ultimate change they're trying to make. So they're going to make defenders a lot more weak against the rangers, or rangers a lot more stronger against the defenders, and they're going to have strikers able to take down the rangers a lot better than they are able to now. It won't be so easy for strikers to take down certain snipers and stuff like that. I guess that's what they're trying to get at the end of the day, instead of just changing character balance. But we'll see what it happens, and we'll talk about more in the future when things happen. So the next one is talking about the Amy first wings and over a balance issue. I'm not going to go through it all. I'm going to probably make a separate video when Amy actually gets a balance patch or rework, whatever you want to call it. To them as a developer, they thought confusion status was something to bring more different changes to the gauntlet. And like I said, I talked about in the past video, but Amy is a very RNG spy character. You could definitely have a good match with her, but sometimes she would be just totally garbage. And I also feel that, and I think a lot of other people feels that that's actually the core problem with her. As a developer, they probably thought it could be a good idea to change the balance and make the game more fresh, but overall it didn't work out. And as like I say in PvE, it just kind of messy. So they are changing it, and if you don't like it, if you don't like the change they're making, then they're giving you option to trade her into different units And my just quick thoughts about this is just exactly like Epic 7, I think. When they nerf character, they tend to give you this kind of trading stuff and they refund all the stuff you spend. It's the same exact thing. Some other games do it too. Personally, I'm not going to trade her in because like there's no point. I already collected every single character. This might be beneficial for people who, you know, joined the game kind of late, so they don't have all the awakening characters. So if they pull the enemy, you know, they have more options now to trade into something they like the more. But if you really like what Amy is, this is definitely never going to satisfy you at the end of the day, because you are just kind of losing the product that you bought with your own money, and they're changing things and they're forcing you to trade into something that you're not sure you want that instead of Amy. So personally, I think Amy's a very cool character in terms of design and her like overall design, and her skills looks cool. Maybe this change will make Amy much better in other aspects, maybe reduce the RNG spike and make her more useful in other aspects. And honestly, I think confusion status was kind of messy. Like I said, I like the characters with less RNG spikes, and Amy was very RNG spike character. Like you will have to pray. This was like Hearthstone level from what I remember. Anyways, long story short, we'll definitely talk more about Amy in the future in other videos, but so far that's what they have for out, so that's what it is. Some people said they want awakening mechanics, so they are adding some awakening mechanic called Evolve 1, which they teased for a long time. They still haven't showed how you were supposed to get them. I hope they just kept their words from the first anniversary interview and they keep it as like more of the PvE contents farming kind of thing instead of another gacha. Because like I said, I'm gonna pull it anyways, but I think it'd be more cool to have something that's ties to PvP instead of keep making you roll the gachas. But that's a pretty short question. I think this is probably a lot of minority thing. I don't know. I think Evolve 1 looks really cool though, so quite excited to see what's gonna be like when it comes out. So question 5 is more about the main story progression. We want to see more main story progressing and stuff like that. They're aware of it. Everyone's aware of it. Like I said, episode 6 is what Korean server got during the first anniversary, and we haven't got any new main episodes since then. But personally, this is just me personally. Like I would love to see new main story come out in really faster paced. But I think side event, the good ones, has been really satisfying me so far. So even though I really want to see main story updates, I feel like side event has been satisfying me enough to this point that the main story update not getting updated frequently hasn't been bothering me that much. Their plan is to kind of shorten down the main story aspect, trying to cut up some stuff, I guess, and trying to release in a faster pace. So we'll see how this is gonna work out. Like I said, they're gonna release more side stories and stuff like that. So I guess maybe they're leaving kind of character building sides more into the side stories, and main story is just gonna literally just focus on the main story aspects. We'll see how things go. I mean, I don't think story is something you really have to worry about except the Guilty Gear collaboration story. Other than that, I don't think story really disappointed me so far, or a lot of player base. So all I want is them to write the story they want to tell instead of trying to, you know, reduce down to the atoms and trying to release a story in a faster pace. They took huge criticism from the Guilty Gear collaboration in the past notes. They said they will try their best to release a better story next time. So that Guilty Gear collaboration story was probably the first time where the users really spoke up about it and they complained about it. So hopefully they'll take their lessons from the Guilty Gear collaboration story and focus on telling more stories in the future in a different way. Next Q&A is about the challenge content. So there is an endgame PvE content called the challenge content where you really kind of need to try hard as you go up kind of thing, especially when you want to 3-star it. So they're kind of lowering the barrier even more, and they're going to be adding more stuff. So they are just making challenge content a lot more easier to access and going to be better for you to retry. They already made sure that you are able to retry as much as you want now, so they are just going to be adding more content. So next question is about the skins. You know, skins has been pretty big deal with the Encounter side. They're pretty good quality. You know, even though they're pricey, a lot of people are satisfied in it when they buy it. But the skin release term has been pretty long as it goes. Personally, I think it's understandable, even though I want more skins. Like wedding skin wise, I wish there was way more wedding skin option. I would definitely buy wedding skin for every single character if I could. They really want the top quality when it comes to SSR grade skins. So that's what they're taking times, and they're saying there's wedding skin coming out in July. There's gonna be new summer skin coming out in the August as well. And especially within August, they are releasing free skins, 2 free skins that they're releasing But hey, there's a free skins that you can all look out for in the future now. And also they said they are thinking of adding more casual outfits, so more like a simple R grade or SR grade skins where it's not going to change the whole tons of skill effect, but something is going to be cheaper to buy, probably like a quartz that you can spend to change your outfits just to get a little bit of feel different vibes instead of, you know, waiting for SSR grade skin only for years to come. So they are adding those kind of changes. Probably not going to be something that I would like to buy, because like I'm pretty hardcore when it comes to skin. I think I really want to see them change totally, like skill effects and everything like that. That's why I tend to only buy like SSR grade skins a lot of times, because those are the skins that change the character completely. But SSR grade skin, I think they still gonna take their time to make it, where they're gonna fill in the gap with more lower grade skins here and there. So that's their planning, I guess, to, you know, satisfy people who wanting more skins. And next question is about when is Awakening to Shiyun is coming out. Episode 6 pretty much ended with cliffhanger with him, so we see what happens in probably episode 7, and episode 7 probably leads to him awakening. They could have totally different settings and different stories for it, and give different stories to making awakening. But anyways, he is getting awakening version. They are working on it now, so they probably say we are able to see him within the later part of this year. To shorten this question out about Awakening Soldiers, they are probably going to release something, it's just they have to kind of find times for it, and probably write story as well. And I don't really know what kind of soldiers that I can come into mind that will be justified as Awakening Soldiers. They are planning in it. We'll see what happens, but I don't know who's going to be the Awakening Soldier, to be honest, from the way it looks right now. Question number 10 is about introduction to My Room. So it's like, you know, dorm system from some other games that you probably heard of, like let's say Honkai Impact had a dorm system, and Counter-Strike already has a chibi character, and it's been a highly requested thing. They want to utilize the chibi character into more like dorm settings. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it if I think about it. Like I spent a lot of money in the Girls Frontline, and if they gonna make another gacha, which I can see it happen, I'm probably not a huge fan of it, and probably not really gonna spend too much into it. I wish they'd taken more like the Arknight routes, where your base, the company, actually is getting bigger and building more better company kind of feeling, instead of just, hey, here's a dorm for your characters. It's not something that I really care about it at this point. Maybe I did back in the day, but at this point, it's something that's addition. If it is totally free, then I'm totally down to check it out and stuff. But if it is something that you have to kind of pay for it, which probably is seeing other games as well, then yeah, probably not gonna ship that much. So question 11 is about, you know, basically like question 10. There's this one grayed out like the box within the menu, but they're originally gonna add that spot with the My Room into that empty spot, but they're not doing that. They're going to add a My Room in a different spot. Maybe they will add something else to that spot. We'll see what happens. So the video is getting kind of long, and last two question is pretty much exclusive to Korean server only, so I think I'm going to skip in this video. If you really want, it's a huge drama. If you really want, I'll definitely make a separate video to talk about it, but I think it's just going to be another 10 minutes to be added to the video if I cover this as well. So yeah, that one I will leave it aside, and let's talk about my feelings for the overall things. So what I think about this Q&A, definitely story aspects definitely helped me out. Skin wise, you know, SSI Grace probably still going to take a long time, so it's probably no real changes, but adding in more cheaper skins in between those probably definitely gonna help out. I would definitely probably able to buy some cheaper skins for characters I don't really use, so we'll see what happens. So talk about balancing wise, I don't know, honestly. You know, they said they will enhance character differences, so they're gonna make sure defenders are really tougher now, I'm assuming, and make sure rangers is gonna be like the hard counter against the defenders. Overall character balance, I can't really say much until it happens. Personally, as someone who collected every single character, I feel like counter-side balance is definitely not terrible, and I'm just saying that just because the ban list exists. If the ban list didn't exist, like the weekly ban up didn't exist, then yeah, I can definitely agree there's going to be a lot of problems. I can see just everyone using same stuffs again. But I think counter-side balance is okay enough to me, as well as fun enough to use different units every week, as someone who collects 100%. I'll be honest, mobile game PvP is definitely not something that you definitely want to get in. I played many games with PvP, and trust me, they all ends up being a stress, and you know, I'm being 100% honest. So, and especially as a free-to-player, PvP is something you should never consider. And I'm glad Counter-Strike's PvP reward difference is definitely not something to go crazy about. And I'm glad they changed the gauntlet now, so it's easier for people who don't want to play the ranked match to be able to just drain their gauntlet point way easier. So I think they're the right things. But like I said, I can't say much. I already talked about this topic so many times during the stream. So if you really want me to see talk about balance stuff, then I can go in details in other videos. But in this video, I'm just gonna wait and see. I don't know. I really don't have any opinions. I just think it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be a lot of changes, I think. So it's gonna be a whole different meta. So all the videos I made in the past about the, especially with the gauntlet aspects for the character, it could be just have to be rewritten completely different. So it's gonna be different. It's not even talking about the balance patch. It's talking about how the gauntlet system works with the class enhancement. So we'll see what happens. I feel like they wasted 3 slots for questions like Awakening Mechanic, Awakened Soldiers, and Awakened Jushin. Like especially the last one with Jushin. I don't think it was worth answering questions, but whatever, they picked out those questions. But yeah, and my room already said if it is something that it's going to be gacha related, definitely not interested in, but we'll see what happens. But overall, definitely not the best answers I wanted out from. Like I wanted other questions answered as well, more of the PvE sides, more new content wise probably. That's what it is. It's definitely not the bad Q&A, definitely pretty useful information. I definitely enjoyed talking about it. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm definitely going to take a shower now because I can't turn on my fan when I'm recording the voice, and holy crap, I'm dying in the heat right now. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.